Right, it's time for our next call. And on the line from wherever he is, we've got Monty Astor. Hi, Monty.
Oh, hello, David.
Hello, Monty. How are you, first and foremost?
Well, I'll be honest with you, David. I'm still a little put out at what's happened. Because this holiday, all I can see is the bloody end of it.
Well, I'm I don't want to take full responsibility. I don't think you should ever blame the victim. But for my part in your discomfort, I do apologise. I want to thank you for calling in. I knew you'd have some thoughts on our beloved Diana. But will we be getting any headlines today?
No.
Okay, so Princess Diana, Monty.
Yes, the people's princess, if you will.
Yes,
the Queen of Hearts.
Princess. Yes.
Yes. Now, David, I had to ring it. I know you're expecting headlines and whatnot, but I felt I had to ring it because I have a personal relationship with Lady Diana. As you know, I've been in journalism for over 30 years. I covered, I don't know if you remember, the famous the Angola landmine story. I was out there with her.
Well, I am familiar with that, but I would like to point out that I was merely a toddler at that point in history.
Oh, yes, that's we all have different ages, David, and this is why maybe your unprofessionalism shines through occasionally. You don't have the same sort of experience as one would.
Well, I don't think being a victim of credit card fraud is to do with age. I think that anyone can fall victim to crime.
Well, they certainly can, David, but some people are a little more gullible than others, if you will.
Well, look, you're not gullible if someone tricks you. Are you gullible if you fall in love with a woman?
Well, it depends on the woman, really, doesn't it? Yeah.
Well, but they all break your heart eventually.
Well, not Mrs. Astor, I'm afraid, no.
Well, you're the exception that proves the rule then. Anyway, we're getting off topic. I'm sorry. I don't like... I'm not very good at taking blame, Monty. So I am sorry. I'm sorry you put out. I really am.
Well, we'll discuss it when I get back to the studio, David, but I can't forget.
Can you forgive?
Time will heal all wounds, David. Time will heal all wounds. That's the only thing we can hope.
Well, this is a bit close to home, Monty. So why don't you carry on telling me about Angola?
Well, I don't know if you know this, Dave. I did go to Angola with the Princess of Wales, and
well, I didn't know that. That is fascinating.
Yes, it was a wonderful trip. She went out there with a famous photograph of her walking through the minefield there, unexploded bombs.
Were there mines though? Was that staged, or were there actually mines there?
Certainly not in the bit that she went into. If you catch my drift, we don't. The princess would never be allowed to walk through an active minefield.
I didn't think so. Okay.
No, it had been cleared long ago. A number of Frenchmen had been killed by that. Well, Frenchmen, legally speaking, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
Yes, and she was. And we got to know each other on the trip. That was the most exciting thing about the trip, David.
Wow.
Yes, this was back in the over 30 years ago. I was nearly 30 years ago now since she died, isn't it?
Oh,
we're 1997, 29 years. My God!
Where does the time go? Jeez,
I remember it well. I was there in Paris on the night, drinking with some fellow called Henry, who had to rush off. No, very sad. The traffic was a bloody nightmare that night. Anyway, no, Angola. What a bloody time we had. I got to know her quite well. We chatted at length about, her marriage failing.
That's
Apparently Charles just couldn't satisfy her lust.
couldn't what?
Satisfy her lust.
Oh, she was. Oh, really? She was like that, was she?
Well, yes, David, as I said, I got to know her very well.
Okay. Right. So she was insatiable.
She was insatiable. I mean, this was before the days of Mrs. Astor. So,
Of course.
Young Monty was free and footloose and fancy free, as they like to say. Yes, and I got to know her. You had to get past that fucking rat, Burrell. That bloody guy. And he was a right cock block, so he was. But I managed to get past him, and she was somewhat of a posh Bonnie Blue, if you will. Put it about a bit.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Yes. She had a bloody great time on the African trip, and as I said, I was footloose and fancy free. I had ties to no one. I said to her, this is an open relationship. Well, it was more that she insisted on it. If anything, she was a very encapsulating woman.
Yes. Okay. In terms of the Bonnie Blue thing, did I mean, I don't know how much you want to share, but did Diana have a strangely large clitoris?
Not in a way. It was the weird thing was, David, it sort of went over to the left, if you will. There was like a bit of a bend in it. It wasn't especially big, but it did have a certain shape to it.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that, that there's no such thing as abnormally large. Everybody's built differently in the genital region. It's just that when I was that way inclined towards women, I did consume some Bonnie Blue content, and I was always struck by how easy it seemed to. There's always this cliche. It's very difficult to find hers was signposted. It was right there.
Yes, the people's princess and also the people's pussy. It was. It was really. Yeah, it was really on display a lot of the time.
A true public servant.
Exactly, David. And those Africans loved it.
Oh, they got involved too. Jesus.
Oh, of course they did. She had a great time.
That explains why she got into the AIDS charities. Of course, she was covering her back.
Yes, covering her. There was no barebacking going on. She was very careful.
Right. Okay. All right. So they were covering her back, so to speak.
Yes. Well, yes. I mean, she kept that. The visor she wore. She did keep hold of that.
Right, yeah, that was. I bet that came in handy. Very interesting.
Bit of a safety mechanism, if you will.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, she could keep her eyes open. She could see the whole thing come in.
Well, yes, exactly. All at the same time. Early bukkake.
Early. Well, I mean, look. Due respect to the Japanese, they've been doing it for centuries.
They have indeed. Yeah. Well, respect to the Japanese. I don't know what her relationship was with Japan. I never covered a trip there. I just remember this one trip. They took me off it not long after that happened. So I couldn't comment on any Asian trips that she went on. I don't really get along with the Chinese, so I don't really like to go there. But one of the things that struck me was her waddling about, parading those gold earrings. She had a lot of jewelry with her for an African trip. I suppose she was bringing it home.
Yeah. I mean, maybe she took a few extra items as well. Or maybe she just wasn't scared of it being taken. I don't know. It's just,
Well, she'd have a very heavy security team with her at the time.
Yeah.
Hence why she didn't get blown up by one of the bloody mines.
I mean, other than the professional side of things and the dalliances, what was she like day to day?
Very, very funny, David.
Funny?
Very
she was
funny.
Funny?
A cracking sense of humour.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I remember, David, one time we were frolicking away, and she went down on me, and I wasn't really. I mean, I will say this, David, in confidence, if you will. Not the greatest lover, in terms of oral pleasure. Very teethy. Very teethy. Yes.
Yeah.
Could be
Horses.
painful at times, yes.
Yeah,
I don't know about you, David, how you like to portray to a young lady how you're enjoying yourself during the act of fellatio. Well, a young gentleman, as it would be in your case.
yeah.
I don't know how you like to portray that you're enjoying yourself.
Well, I usually make a few sort of grunted remarks along the lines of, encouragement. I will say something like, "Don't stop, you dirty little faggot." But it's in the cold light of day, it doesn't sound sexy, but in the moment, it's exactly what they want to hear, and it really gives them a boost.
Oh, exactly. Well, reading from a transcript never quite gets the same sort of,
No. It's very flat. It's a flat reading. And
Yeah.
and to be honest, it would feel strange trying to do it properly with you. Like if I really put myself there and I started going, get your fuck, like that's not right, is it?
No. Well, I mean, what I like to do is sort of throw the old head back. Make a couple of moans. I'm not necessarily too vocal in the bedroom when it comes to pleasure, but I will show visually that I am enjoying myself.
Right. Okay. I always thought the issue with that is it sometimes can just look like you've hurt yourself. So you do need an accompanying moan that's not it's not that. It's that kind of thing.
Yes, more of a moan than a wince.
Yeah, a moan more than a moan, more of a moan than a wince. Yes, I think that's right.
Exactly, but I think the Princess of Wales could really sense my lack of enjoyment. And she did a very funny thing. What she did, you like this, David? She at one point, she tapped the end of my bell end, and she said, "Is this thing on?"
Wow.
It really did bring me back into the moment, and I realised at that moment that I was getting a beach off Her Royal Highness.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, get yourself bloody together, Monty. This might never happen again.
Yeah, live in the moment. This is incredible. I mean, turns out it's not special. She was giving them left, right, and centre. But to you, at that moment, game on.
Yes, amazing experience. I mean, a good experience, but amazing. When it comes to the gravity of what was happening.
Yeah. What a
Very
wonderful
funny
thing to
lady.
look back on. Wonderful.
It was. She cracked a few corkers during the trip as well. I remember holding a little African child and looking to the camera and saying, "Hey, look, I'm Madonna," which was strange because that was before that even happened. She knew how to look forward.
Yeah, Madonna had form probably. Maybe she was referring to Madonna's love of young black men.
Very possibly. Yes, I never even thought about that.
Levels. Her comedy had layers. That's remarkable for essentially someone who was very pretty and learning disabled. Very interesting.
Yes, we didn't have a lot in common. To be fair,
Right.
I mean, I suppose we've both been on the radio, but that was it. But it was a wonderful trip, David. Really did enjoy it.
Well, that's great. I'm really glad you phoned in and put all this tension to one side. It was really good of you, Monty.
No, well, thank you so much, David. I thought I'd leave, sort of a positive experience with it. I really did enjoy the trip, and I look back on it with fond memories, and occasionally think about it. When I've had a bit too much cocaine, and Mrs. Astor's gone to bed. It's something to look back on.
Yeah. And do you ever tap the top and go, "Is this thing on?" and a little wry chuckle to yourself?
Oh, I have a bloody good laugh about it, David. It really is. I did tell Mrs. Astor about it one time. It didn't go down well. You know what women are like.
No. Yeah, very competitive. And how could she compete with a princess? I mean, come on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I said I make you feel like a princess, don't I? And she said yes. This is Mrs. Astor we're speaking about. Diana was already a princess. I didn't ask her that. That'd be a pointless question, wouldn't it?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, did did Mrs. Astor say, yes, you do make me feel like a princess, and then you pushed her into a minefield?
Yes, something like that. I made her wear the visor.
Yeah. Yeah. Do I make you feel like a princess? Get in the car.
Yes.
Monty.
Head on into
Wonderful.
that wall. Yes.
Thanks for calling. And when are you back?
Well, I'll be back as soon as the Airbnb runs out, David.
Right, okay, cool. Well, talk to you soon, hopefully.
Yes, toodaloo, David. All the best with it now.
That was Monty Astor there, giving us a lovely trip down memory lane, talking about one of his old beaux, Princess Diana. Okay, we can now go over to another call.
Hello, this is Gadget Gill DJ Double G telling you that you're watching a free animated preview of the auditory gold known as the Dave Longley Breakfast Show. If you want to access the whole episode, why not head over to Patreon, chuck in a couple of quid. Okay, sign up to Patreon, you get episodes. Different tiers give you different things. Okay, thank you, please.
The Dave Longley Breakfast Show. No stigma, just positive vibes.